Today's job is going to be fitting umbra Renault towbar to the back of my Renault Kadjar. Found these on eBay and on the Renault Kadjar Facebook group. Somebody had this fitted by a professional installer without a bumper cut, so I ordered it up. It's quite a lot cheaper than a lot of the other stuff. Came from Italy. It was £180. Came with everything you need basically to get started. I was really impressed. It came within a week. Comes with all of the electrics and CAN bus and everything, but I'll not probably do that in this video today because I'm under a bit of time pressure to get it taken apart and put back together again before I pick up the wife and kids. So I'll do the electrics separately, I think. Put that out the road just now. But yeah, the instructions actually look pretty decent. People have said that the instructions aren't that great, but I can see it's seems very well laid out for. Sorry, just get to the right page, but you know, it's got a picture of Renault Kadjar, shows you where all the screws are, what you need to do, so let's get on with it. First job is to get the light off, and I think it's just these two screws here, but it does imply that there's a screw in the side, so we'll find out. Looks like star drivers, so yep. So there was a sneaky wee hand screw in the side of here, so yeah, see that? Focus it in. Yeah, that there, it screws onto that thread there. So that, I just unscrewed that over there and it just came out the top of that hole there, so that's good. And I've taken the opportunity to clean inside of the light bays there with some wet wipes, and the back of the lights just, oh boy, in a rush to put it back together again, so get rid of some of that shite in there. Yeah, going to be very methodical. The screws for the lights are going in this empty toolbox I've got, so that's the lights for the LED, the screws for the lights for the LED, and then next, going to this I need to take out all the screws and pop rivet things. Okay, so there's screws behind the bumper plate, so that's coming off next. It's always something that comes up to slow you down, so feckin' glad I started with the number plate. It's completely rusted on. All this, there's no head on the bloody screw. It's completely rusted away, both sides. So I managed to get one of the screws out and swivel it out the road. That's the two screws out of the bottom here. I am thinking about the rest of the screws are underneath. I don't know if you can see that. I was thinking about jacking it up. I may yet do that just to make it easier. So I've got the same problem underneath. I've got one screw out, but the first one I did came out fine, but the rest are just corroded to shit. I'm going to have to get new ones before I carry on with this job. So yeah, top tip, make sure you're going to need some. So it's a T25 Torx. So you need some machine screws to replace these ones, because unless there's ones in the car with a kit. Let's go and have a look. Right, that was harder than expected. These are totally rotten. So the four bigger screws go at the edges connecting the wheel arches to the bumper, and these wee ones connect the bumper to the bottom. They are pretty rotten. I had to drill a couple out. Get in there. So I believe I've got all the screws out. I just took the last 6 out here, so it's a case of peeling it apart. Now the instructions pretty good up until here, and then suddenly there's nothing about removing it. This is something about AdBlue, but I don't know what that is. But according to videos I've seen on YouTube, you basically start popping the wheel arch trim off first, and yeah, go for there. So let's try that. That was actually quite straightforward. Got the big Bertha screwdriver in there, popped it out. You can see there's a clip, so like just here and just here. Get that off, and that's that out. That's as far as I need to take it. Do the same other side. Even quite tough to get off. I've got it off there, but it's pretty tight. It looks to me like there's another screw there holding that on. I can take it off. Yeah, a wee 7mm bolt in there just to catch it off guard. Actually, it's a star on the other side, so that means this bumper's been off before. I did think that it maybe had a wee shunt. Matt Armstrong, you would be saying car vertical, but I've had this car for a few years. I'm pretty happy with it. The reason I'm putting a towbar on it is because I want to keep it a bit longer. So yeah, it's a star one in there. It's a bitch to get to with my normal star keys, so in with a wrench again. I can't have a push record. So I end up jacking the car up because there's 2 extra screws in here and I just couldn't get my hand in with the wheel there, so it gives me a bit of extra height to work on at the back here. And do the same here. They were difficult, seized up again as well. There was one last screw doesn't want to come off, but it's kind of sitting there, so for all the hassle it will be to get it off, it's not in my way now. I've got access to the bit that I need to get access to, so we're good to go. Alright, it's pretty hard work. There's like 6 screws instead of 3 in the diagram. One of these actually shore off, so 1, 2, 3, well, yeah, 6 seized, fairly tight screws. Put a bit of WD-40 on it. Right, now that that's off, we're now onto the jigsaw puzzle that is the umbra towbar. Note to self, I should have used the box to lay on, save my back getting cold. Top tip, jack it up, use the box to lie on. Do that, so they two are the same. But that one's different, that's really concerning, because I would have thought they would be symmetrical. Alright, I figured it out, because there is a right hand side, as you can see there. So this is the right hand side, and that's the left hand side, or the driver's side. And what I'm doing is, I'm guessing that that goes to the back so that I can screw into there and a bolt on top. So I do that with those two, they don't match. So they must be passenger side. I'm going to put that on there like that. It matches. On the other side it does as well. Okay, it's going to be a bitch to fucking get on, but let's give it a go. Right, that's one on. There's a bit of a footer. I eventually got on. This is the odd shaped one because there's a bit of an angle, and that's a straight one. So yeah, like you say, I've left it a wee bit fairly tight at the back, but loose at the front. I'll do the other side. I might now be regretting leaving the bumper attached because it's. And I'm glad I jacked it up because it gives me extra space underneath, but I think I might have to take the bumper off to get full access at this now. Alright, I've got the other side in, it's not fully tightened, that's just loose. I think that's the right way around for that. So I see there, I've just fitted it in, nothing's tightened up, just checking it all for fit. Looks like it's going to work. This is a wee bit close. But yeah, okay, that's good. And again, before I tighten it all up and secure it, just making sure the kind of crash bar goes back on. It's not quite, as you can see there's a wee bit of a loop, but those wee lugs are more just to help you lever it around to get the back bolt on. So once I've tightened it up, I'll just hit them with a hammer and bend them out of the way. That should do the job. Right, I've kind of got it all tightened up now. Impact wrench comes in handy, but you kind of get all the way. The bumper fell off eventually anyway, kind of needed it out the road to get that bit tightened up. I can see that they've kind of bent in anyway when I've tightened them up all the way, so they might be out the road now. Right, so that bumper impact thing went on no bother. It's just a case of putting it back together now, I think. It hasn't mentioned much about fitting the actual tow bar thing, which is in this part. Probably, I'm just going to push the electrics through, so there's a wee grommet thing here. I'm assuming that goes through, so I'm going to push it all through there. And I saw in Jim's shed you can pull out all that gubbins and get into that, so I'll push it all in there for just now. Hopefully I won't have to take it off again, but I'm pretty sure that's the way into the car. It's got a wee thing, so I'll put a slit in that, push it in through there. That's what I think. Yeah, there's literally no instructions on how the last wee bit goes together. I'm pretty tired now. I've got to put the car back together. So what I'm going to do is just put the wire and loom. I mean, that's literally it, but you know, I can't see. Maybe I'm just tired, but I can't really see. Oh yeah, that thread's in there. Okay, maybe it does go in there like that. So that's got threads on it. Yeah, the wire and loom is quite spaghetti and it's not even connected at both ends. I thought it was plug and play with a box, but in the interest of time and tiredness, I think I'm going to have to go back to Umbra and ask for instructions on how to connect the detachable tow bar to the actual bar itself, and come back to the electrics another day. So I did find a video that shows how to assemble the tow bar on an Umbra YouTube channel. It was actually quite informative, it wasn't too bad. It was a bit of a faff putting it on after I'd put the bumper on, so I definitely recommend doing it beforehand. And what I noticed was there's a number of missing washers. There's not enough washers for the tow bar. So yeah, putting the actual detachable tow bar piece on wasn't too bad in the end. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. One thing I watched on another video was that some guys recommended to remove the paintwork from the toe ball so you get a better clamp actually on the ball head, so we'll check that out at some point. Unfortunately, so I was able to do that. I put the bumper back on. A week or two later I was looking at how to do the electrics, and one of my good friends had said that they had done it in several cars, so I kind of wimped out and got him to help me do the electrics with the CAN bus module that came with the kit. Unfortunately on a Nissan Qashqai there's a 6-pin connector block, but on the Kadjar there wasn't, so I had to sort of like Scotch lock into the wires, and because I was asking for my friend's time I didn't record it, because it took us about 4 hours to do that as well. So we ended up splicing into the wires, and actually the kit worked really well. I was pretty chuffed with it, and yeah, my lighting board had a fault and it detected that it was beeping, so it was a short circuit on one of the bulbs, so we sorted that, and now it's working great. We were able to tap into the fog light and the reversing light. I think you might need that for a caravan. And yeah, it fits really well, and I've been able to get all my bikes on, and now I'm thinking about investing in the caravan. Hope that was helpful to you.